when you initially approached it, what was the method of teaching you had? Was it the Roger Gracie become legendary at the fundamentals because you're well known as like a god of fundamentals? Or did you look at it as, I'm going to just keep trying this because I enjoy it? Did you have a kind of game plan of learning it and developing
Yeah,
your skills?
it kind of happened naturally, but I became the type of athlete that it's not great on everything. I was like good on everything, but I had like two, three, or four techniques that were my techniques, like, and I would do the same techniques against everybody on every match. So I became very specialized on a few moves, and I would use those moves against everybody on every single match. And for who is familiar with jiu-jitsu, that was the half guard when I was on bottom, and was the over under pass when I was on top.
Yeah.
And I love the quote from Bruce Lee that he says that you should not fear the one who knows 1,000 techniques, but you should fear the one who knows one technique and has practiced 1,000 times. And that was like one of my favorite quotes.
Because I think I've seen a flow grappling video with you, and it was like your highlights. And in the early stages of your career, it was you took them in over underpass, slotted into the knee bar, win. It was just like you made it look so easy. I mean, I purchased your jiu-jitsu for old guys, where you're over under pressure passing. Phenomenal. It works every time, and it's like this is designed for old farts like me. Like fat farts. It is amazing. So, how have you found a way of learning and developing your skills? Because you do it with so much flair and fun for life. But have you found a way that makes it like small, big returns from small investments? Is there a style of learning that suits you?
Yeah, and I think like when I started jiu-jitsu, I kind of like quickly realized that jiu-jitsu was very broad. So there was like thousands of techniques to learn, like hundreds of subjects.
Mhm.
And in the beginning, I did what everybody does, like try to learn a little bit of everything. But I was not seeing much progress doing that. And then when I started becoming good on one technique or so, instead of trying to use everything, I was just trying to use that technique over and over and over and over and over. And then you start developing other techniques and details around that technique. So it's almost like you mentioned like investing, right? So it's almost like you decide that you're going to become an investor, then you decide that you're going to invest on real estate, and then you decide that you're going to become like a professional investor on commercial real estate, and then you decide that you're going to become a professional investor in commercial real estate between this range
Mhm.
and this range, and then you decide on this type of city, on this type of, so you go narrow, 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 until to the point that you were better than everybody on that specific aspect, like. So that was a quick analogy here that I just made it as you talk about investing, for example.
No, I love it. I mean, and do you think that's why? Because I mean, if anybody says over underpass, you're the first name. You become synonymous with that style of play. That kind of like people. As soon as you see you locked in the half guard, people are just like, well, you may as well just wait till he decides what he's doing. As soon as you decide you're over underpass, he's going to pass. Let's see what he's going with. Did you just
Yeah,
repeat these things in training so much? Like, were you like a repetition learner, or did you
was
just
not so
concentrate?
yeah, was not so much on drilling. I was never like the type of guy who drills a lot. It was more like on training. Like for example, I would train against everybody and force my way to get the over under pass. So if they use the butterfly guard, I would go to the over under from the butterfly guard. If they play close guard, I would figure out how to go to the over under pass from the close guard. If they play lasso guard, how can I go to the over under from the lasso guard? So I was always building ways in my mind to get on that specific position for every other position, like. So that's kind of like what I did. And again, that happened naturally. Like I'm not pretending here that I'm very smart and that I figured out something. I just noticed that I was doing it, and instead of like giving up and start training a bunch of other techniques, I just kept doing what I was doing,